Hello everyone and welcome back to Spoiler Warning featuring myself, Tom Colohue. We have plenty of wrestling news to cover today and plenty of wrestling news to dive deep into. As usual, we'll go through our early headlines. We will recap a little bit of some of this, but the top story we will launch straight into without going too deep into the chat. And oh my god, what is my hair? The headlines today start with The Rock and an update as to the developing situation between him and the WWE, largely him and Nick Khan. We'll then talk a number of names that have been not only muted for the Royal Rumble, which includes The Rock, but also one name in particular which the WWE are very concerned about potentially bringing in for the Royal Rumble without someone else. We're going to talk a little bit about Julia. I finally got something about Julia. You guys will hopefully be very excited about this because I know I've had a lot of questions about her. I finally have some things very small, but I will be sharing it. We're going to be talking the change to the calendar, particularly for the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles and LA Knight added to what was a surefire one-on-one between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. We're going to be talking about that, why that's happened, and the benefit that that gives to people such as LA Knight. We're going to name one individual in AEW that Triple H massively regrets losing and is desperate to get back. And we're going to talk a little bit about a heel turn that has been cancelled on Smackdown. Plus, a few more details as to the recent signing of the Authors of Pain and the one thing that actually blocked them from signing until very recently. Yes, I know you've all heard that they signed many, many moons ago. I can categorically state that this is not the case. So we're going to be starting with The Rock. If that's something that interests you, shout out, let us know in the chat. Get that chat rate going, get that chat boosted, get those likes coming in. We have 59 people here and 15 likes. I think we can do a little bit better. And if we are able to, that'll help us fill this chat. And before you know it, we'll be absolutely flying. And this news will be coming every single day. So we start with an update on the situation for The Rock. The Rock made an appearance on WWE TV recently and made a clear allusion to challenging challenging Roman Reigns, but didn't make any sort of clarification as to when this challenge may come. Now, this challenge has been potentially rumoured to be a number of different people and different times. Obviously, the question is going to be Roman Reigns, though The Rock did mention more people than that. There is not a suggestion, to my knowledge, about a significant run for The Rock, just the one match that the WWE are trying to book him into, so I wouldn't expect to see him at the Royal Rumble. The WWE is still considering the possibility and trying to make their first choice happen. Their first choice is that The Rock opens this year's WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns both opens and closes this year's WrestleMania. So their very first choice is that The Rock would lose to Roman Reigns in the opening match of WrestleMania. Over the course of the following few matches, we would see Jey Uso defeating Jimmy Uso to eliminate him from contention. We would see Randy Orton working against Solo Sikoa as a potential challenger, eliminating that potential blockade, allowing Cody Rhodes to go one-on-one with Roman Reigns and pick up the win. Though I can't guarantee anything with Cody Rhodes. I've been wrong with that one before. What I will say is that there is still, at this point, no match booked for The Rock. If they are not able to sync schedules up to a point at which he's available for WrestleMania, their first choice, then yes, Elimination Chamber is a backup option that they are trying to make happen. That would be the main event in Australia, The Rock versus Roman Reigns. But ultimately, the WWE have made a very, very clear message to The Rock. Any moment he wants to be involved, they will give him however much he wants. A very clear message sent to The Rock stating quite clearly, if you're open to a match, we'll give whatever it takes to make it happen. The Rock, as you might expect, quite happy with this overall endeavour. So my question to all of you now is, and there's plenty of you, 76 people here, my question is, when it comes to The Rock versus Roman Reigns, 1, do you want it? And 2, when do you want it? Let me know in the chat. I will now be starting to catch up and try and see what everyone's been saying so that I can share in the joy. So tell me what you think is going to happen with The Rock. Eric says, any news on WWE working with Japan? I detailed it as much as I could on Friday's show. Sean, I definitely wanted to read this one out. Says, can't talk much, but Brad, it was good seeing you on here. And Tom, I hope I made you proud on the show. Always enjoy talking wrestling with Nick. Thank you for the platform. You're very welcome, Sean. We've had you on before. I've worked with you directly. Nick is obviously always speaks very highly of you. I know you dip in here from time to time. Not only that, but I know what I'm getting with you. There's no risk involved in giving up the seat to someone who I know has already done a good job. Haven't had the chance to listen to it yet myself. It's been a very busy weekend, hence why I was unavailable in the first place. But I promise you, I will be checking it out, and I'm excited for it. Bismo says, good evening, Tom. Hope you're feeling better. Feeling a bit better. I can't say I'm feeling fantastic. That simply wouldn't be true. But I am definitely feeling a little bit better. Thanks for checking in. Marcel says, hi, Tom and chat. How are you all? I'm doing okay. Michael says, hi, Tom. Hello, Michael. And Spiderball says, hello, Tom. Ready for the Rock rumours? Good to hear. Leon says, hi, Tom. Hope you're doing well. Doing okay. Welcome to the show. Mustafa says, hey, community. And hey, Tom. I always like when you guys say hi to each other as well. I always like that. James says, AOP finally made their return. I thought it would never happen. Brad says, glad to see you feeling better. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Spiderboss says, if Trinity, FKA Naomi, appears at the Rumble, fans will chant Sasha, Sasha. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe that's something I'm going to be talking about very soon. Rizal says, hello, Tom. Hope you're feeling better. How are you? I'm doing okay. Appreciate the checking, guys. King Ellis says, hey, Tom, I really want Roman to screw Cody out of the Rumble. It will give Cody more motivation to beat Roman. And certainly I do think Cody will find a way to not be involved in the Rumble win. CM Punk seems like he's going to be the guy. If you haven't checked it out, I made a video detailing how I think the entire Royal Rumble is going to go. It's a good old-fashioned bit of fantasy booking. I'm very excited for people to check it out, and I hope they enjoy it. And Roman Reigns is a surprise entrant in my booking. Yes, Eric, a little bit on Julia. No, it is not Adam Cole. Spiderboss says, finally, the Rock rumours have appeared. Yep, I did say way ahead of time that this was going to be coming. Every year. Ryan says, the Rock has me pumped. Baby, 1 sec, guys. I do apologise. Still very sick. As I catch you with the chat, we have 86 people here and only the 25 likes. If you're able to, please remember to hit that thumbs up once you join the chat and let me know how you're feeling. Joey says, hello, Tom. Got any news on who some surprise Royal Rumble entrants could be? If you've checked out the thumbnail and the title of the video, you may be expecting some of those and you'll be getting them. Leon says, I'm going to guess Samoa Joe is the AEW name Triple H wants back. Not the one I'm going to be mentioning. Billy says, on the road to 1 million views. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. But yes, we are in fact on the road to 1 million views. We are doing what we can and trying to get it going. Kerry, thank you very kindly for subscribing on the YouTube side. You'll get notifications every time we go live. Hopefully you enjoy this spoiler warning content and this wrestling news. There'll be plenty more of it. Vegeta says, hi Tom. Hello Vegeta. Ryan says, especially the potential appearance at Chamber. Alyssa says, worrying about Cody Rhodes not getting matches with Roman Reigns. Chris says, good evening, Tom. Good evening, Chris. Ryan says, match should be for the title of head of the table and not for the championship. I think it'll be for both because, Rock's going to lose. Spiderboss says, I'm more interested in watching Roman versus The Rock instead of Cody getting his revenge. If you can get both, would you be down for that? Noob says, hello, Mr. Colohue. Hello, Noob. Rizal says, I'm really over The Rock news. It feels like he's just teasing everyone for attention at this point. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. Yes. Good old-fashioned WWE trolling. Has been for a long time. Michael says, I've never cared for a Roman Rock match. It's not needed. I agree. I do think it's a nice bookend. It certainly would attract some eyes, but it's not necessary for the Roman Reigns title reign. If anything, the Roman versus John Cena match felt harsh on John Cena because Roman's just so far ahead of him now. I think the same is true of The Rock. King Azza wants WrestleMania 40. Allied wants it at the Chamber. Bailey doesn't want it and doesn't need it. Joey says, do you think they would do it at the Elimination Chamber to sell out 60k tickets? I think they've mostly sold them out already. WrestleBuzz wants the Chamber. Brad says whenever he's available. Robin Dave says yes, and WrestleMania. Spiderboss says, I want to see Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania 40. It's more interesting than watching Cody finish, his story. Sorry guys, still a little under the weather. Luke wants WrestleMania. Juan wants WrestleMania. Tell me if I pronounce your name wrong there. I think I overdid it. Joey says, has Nick Khan been the main person trying to get The Rock back? Yes, he has. He's been on this much more than, for example, Triple H has been. Though William Regal has been more involved than you might think. Jack says Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, since as of right now Roman isn't scheduled for Elimination Chamber. Mr. Stumble says, Tom, I think The Rock will join the Bloodline as the head of the table, forming a heel faction with Nia, Solo, and eventually adding Dominic. Reigns turns face, Dominic plays a Sami Zayn role, and turns and takes over the Bloodline. I think that's a little too contrived. I don't see The Rock ever getting that opportunity because of his schedule. Selvig says, hello Tom, hope you're doing well. Want to know if there are any call-ups from NXT post-Rumble? Is Naomi really going back since Fightful and PWInsider reported it? That is going to be our very next piece of news, Selvig. Stick around and we'll be getting to it. Leon says Rock vs. Cena was mediocre in 2013. Now he's 11 years older and was gassed throughout his recent Raw segment. No interest from me in Roman versus The Rock. David Leary wants it at Elimination Chamber. Vegeta says it's not about match quality, which I get. Chris says both Mania and Elimination Chamber are very feasible options as they are both major stadium shows. However, I think if you want fans to keep coming back, should they do more shows in Australia, I'd have to think we see Roman versus Rock at Elimination Chamber. Wiggly just says more Rock rumours. Spider-Boss says, I wonder if Karrion Kross will work now having AOP on his side since getting no reactions from fans. There will be more on that to come. DC says, hey Tom, like yourself, I'm a little under weather too, so I'm hoping we get better real soon. Do you have any details on the relationship between NXT and AJPW? We did have some details on that. We shared as much as we could on Friday's show. By all means, pop back onto that and catch up. Vegeta's so happy AOP are back. Thank you both, Brad and Selvig, for that. Wiggly says, I'm going to spoil it for you all and say The Rock is not main eventing WrestleMania 40. I think I'm pretty clear in what I've reported, and it's not that. Clyde says, it's spoiler warning, and you know what that means. Glad you're feeling better, Tom. Now all is well with all the chat. How all is well with all the chat. Time for push-ups. Bless you, Tom. Yeah, that's that. We sync up with your exercise, don't we? It's a very interesting world we live in. Wants to say, Tom, good Sean Ross Sapp the enemy had a hunch Mercedes money secretly signed of AEW. More on that shortly. Spider-Boss says I've been sick for the last 2 weeks and watching Spoiler Warning helps me feel better. I'm still sick, but having Spoiler Warning to look forward to definitely helps me as well. Kevin says, why the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is going to start 5 to 6:30am in the morning, because in Australia. James says, in your humble opinion, do you see a Shane O'Mac versus Hulk Hogan match? No. Vegeta says, because it's in Australia, which is fine. Kevin says, for me, Gunter versus Roman Reigns winner-take-all sounds more interesting. I would love that, and I do think the day will come. Alyssa says, everybody's happy Vince McMahon is gone. Talk The Rock there, more how bad Vince McMahon is creative. Think work Triple H, Nick Khan. Mr. Stumble says, CM Punk gets eliminated from the Rumble of interference from Taker and Triple H. Taker and Triple H's manager faces Punk in a buried alive match at Mania. Triple H and Taker win that match. None of that will be happening. CM Punk will be taking on Seth Rollins. Spider-Boss says, sometimes the narrative of Cody finishing the story is annoying. Cody's story is related with the World Heavyweight title. That is not what he is going for because it doesn't really exist anymore. Khalid says, hey Tom May. Hello Khalid. Marcel says, I think it's a good idea to do both at Mania. And Khalid says, I think the Chamber would be a good choice. Kevin says, people need to understand The Rock versus Roman Reigns, one of the biggest matches since Cena versus Rock. Eric says, I'm not believing Roman Rock till Rock actually comes on the same day as Roman. Like Via, he takes a long time to come. Richard says, hello Tom, any chance we can see Drew versus Priest for the Money in the Bank? Nope. Spider-Ball says, do you think a babyface turn for Rhea Ripley could work now? Technically, there are 2 Rhea Ripleys. One of them is a babyface already. Joey says, do you have any news on Camille signing with the WWE? I do not. McWawa says, Andrade going to be at the Royal Rumble, you think? Yes, I do. I've been reporting for a long time now that Andrade was just running down his contract with AEW before returning to the WWE. This has now been confirmed to be true. King Arthur says, Tom, I don't see Roman dropping the championship until 41. There's many more matches for Roman to have, and he can have them while other people are involved in championships. Stumble says, what do you think has more hype? Hogan Rock, Cena Rock, or Reigns Rock? Reigns Rock, no question. Kevin says, to make everybody happy, triple threat match, Cody versus Rock versus Roman for Mania. That would not make everybody happy because a lot of people just want The Rock versus Roman. Khalid says, hopefully Sheamus returns soon. He will be. And Daniel says, hey, hello Daniel. Wrestling and Magic says, happy Monday, Tom. You're a legend. Thank you, Wrestling and Magic. Nice to see you too. And Patrick says, hi, Tom. Sorry, it's been a while. Life got in the way lately. Life gets in the way. Life does its thing. You don't need to say sorry. You're always welcome here. Vegeta says, Kevin, that doesn't make me happy. Cody needs to beat Roman 1-on-1. Spider-Boss says, I wonder how to call it. Raw's world title is world heavyweight title or just world title? It's a world heavyweight title. Joey says, do you think Ricky Starks is the AEW talent Triple H is interested in? I know the AEW talent that I'm going to be reporting on, and it is not Ricky Starks. But I encourage everyone to continue guessing, because that does very good things for my chat rate. No comment, Joey, but let's just say that's going to affect future watch parties. Selvig says, is there a chance Andrade debuts this Friday or Monday? Yes, everything is on the table. And Ricky says, hi Tom, happy Monday, happy New Year, been sick, sorry I've been away. Me too, I've been sick, sorry I've been away. We have 97 people currently here, 32 likes. Keep clicking that thumbs up if you haven't done already, and subscribe if you haven't also. There is plenty of very good stuff coming to this YouTube channel, and I don't want anyone missing out. Our second piece of news is as regards surprise names for the Royal Rumble. Some of them have already been mentioned, some of them have not, some are returning from injuries, and some have already been reported by me many moons ago. So let's get through the list of people that have been mentioned to me by multiple sources as people that the WWE are trying to line up for a Royal Rumble spot. Starting with the obvious one, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is still actively injured, though the WWE are confident she will be cleared in time and is expected to return at this year's Royal Rumble, if in a minor capacity. She will not be winning the Royal Rumble. Those chances seem to have gone, but Liv Morgan is being lined up for a strong 2024 as someone who can work with a number of different talent. She will likely be working in the tag team division at WrestleMania with Raquel Rodriguez, but this is just to protect her. After they rushed her back from injury previously, they don't want to do that again. Liv Morgan likely to return at the Royal Rumble. Firstly, let me know what you think about that. Secondly, Naomi. Yes, Naomi is a name that's been mentioned as making a return to the WWE at the Royal Rumble. The WWE have reportedly been in discussions with Impact about borrowing her, not re-signing her, but the WWE remain confident that they'll be able to convince her to return to the company. This is something I've been talking about for over a year now. Naomi is someone that the WWE were always confident that they could convince to come back. They just wanted to have both. And you see, this is one of the issues we're going to be seeing at the Royal Rumble. Triple H in particular, head of creative now, simply isn't confident that he can bring Naomi back in a way that doesn't make the crowd yearn for Sasha Banks. It'll be very interesting and a very good selling point for Mercedes Money if there are chants, but not chants for Sasha Banks, chants for Mercedes Money. That may be one of the reasons that there's been no contract signed so far, but that is just speculation on my part. Let me know if you're excited to see Naomi returning. Yes, X-Pac's name has been reported by PWInsider. He's one of those that pops up every single year on the fake Royal Rumble listing that goes around. Sean Waltman may well return to the WWE in some capacity. He has been backstage a number of times since Triple H took over, visiting. However, he's not believed to be in a fit shape right now, so a lot of work would need to be going into it. To my knowledge, that work has begun. Let me know if you're interested in Sean Waltman or X-Pac returning to the WWE. There'll be more names, don't worry. I'm just going to take a quick break on that to read through everything. Michael says Triple H wants Malachi Black, which is true, not the name I'm going to be mentioning. Spiderboss says, I remember Triple H wanted FTR so badly. He absolutely did. Not the name I'm going to be mentioning. Brad says Miro, not the name I'm going to be mentioning. Joey says maybe Tony Storm. Nope. Kevin says, what was your favourite era to watch wrestling? This one. I really think we're in a wonderful era for wrestling across multiple companies. You guys know I'm a New Japan fan, and it's not getting boring. Marcel says, Malachi Black. Alistair Black is my guess, not the name I will be mentioning. Leon saying everything is on the table. For those who are channel members, you do get the channel table emote, and I do think it's quite a fun one to use. Ricky says, do you think Roman could actually lose at the Rumble? More on that shortly. Kevin suggests Adam Cole, not the name I'll be mentioning. King Azza says, do you think they should retire the Universal Championship once Roman drops it, because no one is going to break that record ever again? King Azza, one of the first reports I made as regards the brand new championship was that they would be retiring the Universal Championship once Roman loses the belt. A lot of mockery was sent my way. A couple of days later, behind the Fightful Select paywall, Sean Ross Sapp reported that the lineage of the new United Championship would follow the Universal Championship until Roman Reigns lost the championship, at which point it would revert to the WWE Championship. They stopped laughing then. Sean says, "Hi Tom, not feeling the best today. Sorry to hear that, mate. I'm not going to read it out in here because, well, unfortunately that's just not what this stream is for. But if you need anything, reach out to me, mate, okay?" Spider-Bell says, Raquel Rodriguez recently on IG revealed she's dealing with some health issues and that's kept her sidelined. A tag team would certainly help that. LF says Rock versus Roman is best suited to the grandest stage of all, WrestleMania. People keep worrying about Cody finishing the story. What about Roman's story? Roman's story for me is way past its bedtime. Jonathan suggests Okada, not the story I would be mentioning. Alyssa, Amazon Prime is not an area where I expect WWE Raw to turn up. They don't want to be on a platform like that. Josh said, I'm hoping an AEW prospect that Triple H wants back is Swerve. All WWE's current heels lack a certain legit attitude Swerve has. What I will say in support of that theory is I did say Triple H wants them back, and he's upset to have lost them. Razar says, I always figured Naomi would go back to WWE. Sasha was always a wild card. Really hope the crowd doesn't ruin Naomi's return with Sasha chance. And Spider-Boss says, I prefer Trinity stay on TNA. TNA has treated her well, and I don't necessarily think she's planning to leave, even if she will make an appearance. Robin Dave says, I wonder if The Rock does the Elimination Chamber. When will they start building up the match? King Other says, no, I don't want to see him. Megan says, hello and Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year to you too, Megan. I do believe you mentioned earlier on Twitter that you were considering streaming tonight. Is that something that you're still considering? Joey says, is Mickie James a name that's been discussed for the Rumble? It's been mentioned. I wouldn't necessarily be able to say it's been discussed. Jack says, is it Paige? Not who I'll be mentioning. Alex says, I do hope WWE can bring Sasha Banks back. Maybe Naomi can hell that and Bayley too. Bayley says, Buddy Matthews? Not the name I'll be mentioning. Goon43 says, is there any interest in the WWE on Sean Spears? No. Alex suggests Kyle O'Reilly, not the name I'll be mentioning. Kevin says, what about Naomi returns Royal Rumble for one night like Mickie James, Impact Champion? I do believe that's exactly what I've just said. Martin says, hi mate, lurking tonight while I drive. Won't be back in time to fully interact, but smash those likes and hello all. Thank you very much for your support as ever, Martin, and for sharing the stream earlier. Sean says, Matt Striker got heat for his comments on Matt Riddle and MLW show. Everyone should get heat for their comments on Matt Riddle. The guy deserves more people to make comments. Wrestling and Magic says, Tom, a curious question. How will you book Gunter to lose his IC title? Will we see Gunter versus Lesnar at Mania? Let's talk about the second one shortly. Tommy says Triple H wants UE back. He actually doesn't. Spider-Boss says, I honestly see Mercedes money signing of AEW. TK would make her the top star of the AEW women's division. If that's a discussion that interests you, check out Friday's spoiler warning, where we did go into a lot of detail. Michael says, how about Deonna? That will not be the name I'm mentioning, though he's a little bit disappointed by that. Megan says, I've just got done with my stream, actually. Sorry to have missed it. Joey says, is it a tag team? Nope. H-Car says, hi Tom, any news about the Rock versus Roman Reigns match? Yes, H-Car. Rewind back to the beginning of the stream. It is the very first piece of news. If you can't rewind on Twitch, by all means check out the YouTube. Jack says, is it Moxley? Not the name I'll be mentioning. Lovely. Okay, so I'll continue with my list of Royal Rumble returns now. Some of these will be returns from injury, and those are Carlito, which the WWE have been waiting to have him back into wrestling seriously for a little while now. Essentially, Triple H is not particularly happy overall with the current contribution of Carlito, and there are question marks about whether or not it's worth keeping him around. He's likely to return at the Royal Rumble, and at that point, it'll be considered something of a test, because he's going to need to clear some hurdles. Also looking to return from injury, Rey Mysterio. Royal Rumble has been the time mentioned for him. Another name from the women's division, AJ Lee. Now, the WWE has reached out via CM Punk to essentially assess whether or not she'd be interested in making a one-off Special Legends appearance. At this point, I don't know what the answer is. I just know that they've reached out and they're trying to make it happen. AJ Lee for for the Royal Rumble. This leaves us with one name to mention, a name that I've reported many months ago. Brock Lesnar is at the top of the list to return to the WWE at the Royal Rumble. This would then set up a match with Gunther at WrestleMania. That's what Gunther is looking for. We just need Brock Lesnar to agree to return in that manner and get the match started. We're just waiting on the agreement from Brock Lesnar. He did Spider Boss. As I say, there are concerns about the fact that he hasn't been able to wrestle to a standard that the WWE expected. He will be returning properly around Royal Rumble time to the main roster. We are very much running out of names. Braun Strowman is another one who's due to be returning soon, but they're taking their time with him. I would expect him closer to WrestleMania time. No result, I did not. That is not something I can really answer as regards to AEW being a safe place to work. The fact that you asked that question suggests that you already have an answer. Yes, Sean, Liv Morgan was indeed mentioned. Wrestling and Magic says, of course, when Punk is back, AJ Lee is obvious. Yes, I would say so, but she is still someone that is being mentioned. Vijit says, I don't get why so many people want AJ Lee back. Nostalgia. Same reason they want The Rock back. Josh says, Carlito got a wild reaction on the last NXT. Blair says, Tom, who wins at chess? Steven Regal versus Al Snow. Steven Regal, he actually plays chess and plays it to a very high degree. Joey says, do you know if Mandy Rose has been a surprise name brought up? Her name's been mentioned. Triple H does want to bring her back. Nick Khan is not believed to be interested in doing so. Kevin says, if AJ Lee returns to the Rumble, one of the biggest pops in history. Hey KJ, how you doing? No age card, nothing on the Hall of Fame at this point. Alyssa says, do you think time put belt on Nakamura? He big feud with Cody. Seth deserves title World Heavyweight Champion. No, Nakamura will not be winning the championship. CM Punk is next in line. Yes, KJ, there has been a little bit. Jack mentions Christian, not who I'll be mentioning. Spider-Boss said, I'd love to see AJ Lee back in WWE for one last match. She retired in her prime. Tommy says Gunther versus Brock will be amazing. Zayn is excited for TNA to return at Hard to Kill. Michael suggests he wants Ruby back. Sean says, have Alexa and Carmella been mentioned for the Rumble? No, they've just given birth. The WWE not pressuring them to return. KJ, what I've said as a headline is that there is one particular AEW wrestler that Triple H regrets losing, and I just wanted to share that name. We haven't got to that piece of news yet, but everyone's having a lot of fun trying to get it. One person got it, and I believe they may have noticed. H-Car says, hope Kane makes an appearance at the Royal Rumble. I hope not. Bobby says, if Orton wins the title of the Rumble, he won't. Should they put Cody and Roman in the chamber match? They won't. So Cody can get one over Roman before going to WrestleMania 40 and challenging Orton. You're asking me to say something that should happen based on several guesses that won't happen. KJ says, Rumble surprises, but everyone being named is under contract elsewhere. They are not the Rumble surprises that people are mentioning in chat. Joey says, is Triple H looking to make this year's Royal Rumble better than last year? Yes. Every year. Bailey says, how soon, if ever, will Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce be in a match? I would be looking at Nick Aldis rather than Adam Pearce, and I'd be looking at relatively soon. I think it'll be within this year. One says, is it Athena? It is not. Spider-Boss says, Brock versus Gunther would be, as Biggie says, big meaty men slapping meat. That would be a hell of a division when you add Biggie back into it. Blair says, who is the best wrestler turned actor? Batista is certainly up there for me. Bismo says, any NXT wrestlers involved in the Rumble? They're currently in the position of still working out who will be involved. They haven't announced it as of yet to the individuals. I have no idea. He has a name, Aged Car. It's not KJ. Spider-Boss says, do you think WWE made the fatal four-way so Randy Orton doesn't get pinned? More on that shortly. I do have more information on that. Allied says, I think Mercedes will be back in WWE in 2 to 3 years if they don't sign her now. I definitely think she will return to WWE once she has built the Mercedes brand and they give her what she wants. As I've already reported, that was the stumbling block, and that seems to have been what prevented her from signing back with WWE. Next piece of news is quite a minor one. It is finally the first piece of news I've had on Julia. You're going to love this. You're going to love this because it's funny. According to a report behind the paywall of Fightful Select, Julia is not particularly happy with the leaking of information about WWE interest in her, and in fact has not enjoyed all of the different reports discussing her future. This may apparently put a spanner in the works of the WWE. Firstly, I want to point out the irony. Julia is not thrilled with reporting on her future, says a report from a reporter reporting on her future. Can I just say, if you're reporting that she's not happy, maybe you should shut the fuck up. Maybe that's what you should be doing. Now, yes, to my knowledge, Julia is not happy with the reporting, one of many reasons that I've not been reporting anything. Also, I don't have anything to report in this regard. Julia, to my knowledge, has not actually at this point landed and signed anywhere, though she does have contract offers on the table and she is determined to move on to pastures new. When it comes to her business, she's a very private person. She's not particularly happy with people like Sean Ross Sapp reporting on her business. So yes, that news got out to a lot of people as essentially a leave me alone warning, which I really can't blame the team around her for doing. It sends a very clear, very simple message, and that very clear, simple message is leave me alone or else. And immediately, as you know, people chose to ignore it. Always a wonderful thing when it comes to the world of wrestling. Evening, Dan. Nice to see you, mate. Always nice to see you come in just as we're getting to an area where you actually have quite a lot of experience. LF says, any word on Batista making an appearance on going into Hall of Fame? As I've said, I don't have anything on the Hall of Fame. It doesn't get finalised this early. H. Kaios says, your stream is a little bit lagging for me, Tom. Can anyone confirm that's on the Twitch side? Is anyone getting any lag on the stream? Kevin says, give me another Gunter triple threat match for Mania. Gunter versus Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. I would enjoy that. Spider-Boss says, sometimes WWE is weird. They gave a big contract to Logan Paul, but they don't give Mercedes money what she wanted. What she wanted was not money. I've mentioned this before. I'll have to mention it again. It's not all about the money for Mercedes money. A large part of it is use of the Mercedes brand, which Nick Khan was not willing to offer, to my knowledge. All of the reports stating that it's all about money are completely incorrect. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Spider-Boss. Appreciate that. KJ says maybe Samoa Joe. Actually, he's being pushed hard right now. Do you still think he'll come back? Or, yeah. I still think the day will come. I think they're doing everything they can, but that doesn't mean anything's actually going to continue to convince him. Roger says my YouTube stream is running perfect. Thank you, Roger. Selvik says, what is happening with Shanti the Adonis? Is this a way to get Dream back, or is this something else? It is not a way to get Dream back. The Velveteen Dream will never return to the WWE. Never. As regards to Shanti the Adonis, they're trying to push a Shanti the Adonis. There is no connection. Joey says, do you know if Stardom has allowed Julia to start talks with other companies yet? Stardom is a Bushi Road company. They don't really care about contract negotiations. They don't consider it a breach of contract to negotiate your future contract with another company. They're fine with it. It's exactly what happened with Kairi Sane. Alex says, Mercedes still hasn't signed a deal with anyone yet, right? To my knowledge, no. KJ says YouTube stream is fine. It's lagging, but it's my Wi-Fi. Spider-Bell says it would be funny if Mercedes Money denies SRS's reports about her. That's not her game. She lets everyone else talk about her, and that's how she builds her name. Credit to her for it. LF says, please don't say Triple H wants John Moxley. He absolutely does, but that's not the name in question. Rob says, in other words, if she agreed to come back, it would be Mercedes Money entering the 2024 Royal Rumble. I believe I've been very clear on that one, yes. Dan says there's also one other thing happening in Japan too this year, unless a certain parent company makes changes that would have a major impact on the scene in terms of Japanese women's wrestling and where people go. Interesting. Now, I don't have anything on this. Don't have any details really to discuss, but I'm very excited by that. KJ says maybe it isn't about the money, it's about the money. Jonathan says, gotta be Jericho? Nope. Spider-Boss says, do you think the Kabuki Warriors are next in line for the women's tag team titles? I hope with the women's tag team titles are kept in one place for a little while. However, yes, I think the Kabuki Warriors are winning them probably around WrestleMania time, so the Damage Control is in the ascendancy, ready for an Io Sky Bayley match. That's what I personally see happening there. Alex says, Mercedes put her Sasha Banks wigs and gear on her Instagram story last night. I don't know why. It sends a very clear message, as regards recent reports, that it all came down to the name. Haven't really seen it, Spider Boss. Haven't really seen it. Was never that interested in Edge versus Christian at any point. Same as I was never interested in Matt versus Jeff Hardy. I just get on with it, you know? Feud of other people. There are other people. We have ourselves a fatal four-way for the Royal Rumble. The original match planned was Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. However, there's a number of different reasons that they've made this change. Firstly, yes, they are protecting Randy Orton a little bit. He is still working his way back to full fitness, and that's one of the reasons he didn't wrestle a full match for the War Games, which is of course where I mentioned he would be returning. Now, of course, we've added AJ Styles. I've mentioned previously that the issues between AJ Styles and Paul Heyman have been smoothed out, particularly with the return of the Good Brothers and an apology that was made by Paul Heyman. This is why AJ Styles was able to move to Smackdown, and we've seen him engaging with Roman since. Things have continued to improve there, and AJ Styles is now in a position to be in a wrestling match with Roman Reigns once again. It's not one-on-one. I feel that's a shame, but AJ Styles is being rewarded for his work. As regards LA Knight, the intention is to build him towards a WrestleMania match. I've mentioned previously what I expect that WrestleMania match to be, that being for the United States Championship against Logan Paul. What I will say as regards LA Knight, Triple H is particularly concerned that if he's not focused on regularly enough, fans will start to essentially give up and ignore him, or at least believe that the WWE have done so. For this reason, Triple H is ensuring that he gets plenty of attention. This is another way to get him involved in a championship match, continue something with Roman, and also add a little bit of extra intrigue when it comes to the Roman Reigns section. You see, if Roman Reigns is in a one-on-one match, you never for a single second believe that Roman Reigns is going to lose that one-on-one match. A fatal four-way, that sets the cat amongst the pigeons. It really does. So that means that we can see some more protection for Orton, some more momentum for LA Knight, but also just a little more intrigue and a little less predictability. Next up, we will be talking about the name that Triple H regrets losing from the WWE, who is currently wrestling in AEW and doing such great work that Triple H is casting envious eyes. Let's catch up with the chat one more time. Joey says, I hope we see the AJPW title make an appearance in NXT. And KJ says, my Wi-Fi has been horrible. I uploaded a video this morning and it's still loading. Have you got storms where you are, mate? H-Car says, do you think R-Truth gets a big push? Nope, but I think he gets a push. Spider-Boss says, for me, it's been fun watching Christine Cage defeating Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland isn't unbeatable anymore. Roman could always beat him. Josh says, I'm just excited for the inevitable mixed tag with Mercedes and Sean McMahon. Here comes the money. Like, I like what you did there, but the Sean McMahon definitely threw me off a bit. Alyssa says, people hate Cody Rhodes forcing WrestleMania 40 main event to understand screw over. HCar says, any news about Judgment Day? Nope. I think it's pretty clear what's happening there. He does, KJ. He's working himself back to full fitness. Live events tend not to be the longest or the most intensive matches. Michael suggests Roderick Strong. Or Roddy Piper, in which case I've got some bad news for you, mate. Spider-Boss says about the Fatal 4-Way, I think LA Knight or AJ Styles take the pin. I agree. Roger says top dollar to appear at TNA, hard to kill. Wrestler Fan says Brock Lesnar going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. About 15 minutes ago, we discussed all of the different surprise entrants that I was hearing news of for the Royal Rumble. By all means, zip back and check it out. Roger suggests Tony Storm. It is not. One of you got it. One of you got it. Now is the time. Swerve. You've been swerved. You've been swerved because I said Triple H regrets losing someone to AEW, and you've been swerved. Because it's Swerve. It's not a swerve. It's Swerve. Hit row and all that jazz. Swerve is doing some amazing work in AEW at the moment. One of the first people that Triple H contacted when Triple H took over the creative position in WWE from Triple H. Swerve is someone that they are really casting envious eyes at the moment. I've spoken at length about the long-standing interest in names like Adam Cole and Samoa Joe, long-standing interest in names like Andrade and Miro. Andrade now seems to be coming home. They have a championship on Samoa Joe. We'll see if that convinces him to stick around. Swerve is getting a lot of very positive attention from the WWE right now. We have 118 people watching and 44 likes. 6 more, just 6 more, less than 5% of the people watching will get us up to 50. 50 is a great number for any episode of Spoiler Warning. I still remember the days I was struggling to get up to 20. Getting up to 50 still feels like a bit of a pipe dream. My records are a bit higher, but 50 would be a great number, and I'd very much appreciate if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Spoiler Warning is still the flagship show on the Tom Colohue channel, even though we still have plenty more to come over the next few days. The target for this year continues to be 1 million views before the end of the year. 1 million views over the course of the year. Averages to about 87,000 views a month, or about 2,700 views per day. Shorts will of course be heavily used in this, but Spoiler Warning is not exactly slouching. Friday's Spoiler Warning had more than 1,000 views and 12 new subscribers. A wonderful time was had by me. I can't speak for anyone else, but I certainly enjoyed it. Couple more pieces of news to come on to, but let's catch up with the chat. Spider-Boss says a multi-man match would be a way for Gunter to lose the IC title without getting pinned. Personally, I'd have him win the main title and then relinquish the IC title. Moises says I'd like to see Swerve back in the WWE someday. Josh says Swerve, I was right. Yes, you were. Does this mean I win the Spoiler Warning World Championship? Back in the days when we were just on Twitch and there was only 18, 20 people in total, we did have a 24/7 championship that people could win using their channel points. We really can't do that now because there's just too much happening at once. Though what I will say is it was great fun seeing people cash in on each other. I really quite enjoyed it. Spider-Boss says I think Swerve is next in line for the AEW World Championship. That would be fun. Rob says, isn't Swerve also the one they reached out to and set off the Tony Khan rants about tampering? Yes, he is. KJ says, but let's be honest, would Swerve reach the heights that he reached in AEW in WWE? I don't think so. I think he would now. KJ says, I think Swerve is best off in AEW, to be honest. Michael says, with as many people talking about money being an issue with WWE and Mercedes, it's hard for me to believe that isn't at least part of what is stopping her from signing. But also, she filed so many trademarks, they'd all go to waste if she wasn't known as Mercedes Money. She's confident she can make more money from the Mercedes brand than the WWE can offer her. And that's true of AEW as well. Aled says, do you know if there's any plans to have Punk wrestle at the Chamber pay-per-view? There is plans to have him there. I don't necessarily know whether he's got an opponent lined up yet, but they are setting up a long-term feud for him while he works towards Seth Rollins. Rob says, Cream always rises to the top. Obviously, would have happened in a bit of a different way. KJ says, we know for a fact Triple H would book Joe or Cole at the top as he did in NXT, but he didn't book Swerve too much in NXT. His one North American title reign was a few weeks long. Yes, because the Hit Row was actually only on NXT for a brief amount of time. Vegeta says he's best off as a big fish in a small pond. Selvig says Swerve has a multi-year contract with AEW, right? Yep. I'm not saying Swerve's going to be coming to the WWE. I'm saying Triple H regrets losing him. Joey says, do you know if there's any interest in bringing back Shawn Spears for a one-off Rumble appearance? Again, not to my knowledge. Interest in Shawn Spears is not there, to my knowledge. Juan says, hey Tom, Dave Meltzer still says he expects Mercedes money in AEW. He said it again today in his podcast. Me too. Bear says, I want to thank Tom Colohue for the excellent job he's done. Oh, thank you. I love this podcast and believe he does not get the proper credit he deserves for the news he breaks. Thank you, Tom Colohue. I appreciate that, Bear. It's a very nice thing to say. Selvig says, what about Malachi Black? Is there any interest for him by WWE. Yeah, absolutely. Joey says, I don't think Swerve wants to go back since he told TK of WWE reaching out to him. Didn't necessarily mean that he said to TK, just that someone said to TK. No age car, not aware of any announcements there. Cody D, how you doing, mate? Been a little while. The spoiler warning, I'm back for a Colohue live show. How was your holidays, Tom? I've been a little ill. The family's been under the weather, so strenuous. But otherwise good. I mean, it's a Christmas break. I can't argue. How are you, mate? It's been a little while. Miss AC says, Mercedes money? I don't know what the question is. Vegeta says, I wouldn't be interested in Sean Spears either. Rob says he was always someone Triple H liked, but he didn't seem he was of high interest to Vince at the time, which left him in NXT limbo. Yeah, very much so. Why me? Interesting new name. Says, I heard X-Pac is in the Rumble. What do you reckon? If you pop this stream back to about 20 minutes in, we did discuss a number of different people who may be making appearances at the Royal Rumble, and I listed off everyone I know that the WWE is interested in. X-Pac's name may have been there. By all means, pop back and check it out. KJ says, sucks. I know you said the Mercedes name issue in WWE is a Nick Khan call, but I know Triple H would love to have her. I'm hoping he can work something out. I don't know, Joey. I think there will be a different version of Brawling Brutes, and I think Sheamus will be attached to the current incarnation that's already there. Age Car, I don't know what news you're asking for about EO. She continues to be a champion. Miss AC says, Sasha/Mercedes in the Rumble. I would like you to pop back to Friday's show where we discuss at length the situation with Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Money. It's the very first piece of news, so if you watch Friday's spoiler warning, it immediately jumps straight into it, and you can check it out there. Two last pieces of news to cover. Firstly, a heel turn on the Smackdown roster has been cancelled. The WWE were planning to put together Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, the intention being this would be a heel turn for the Street Profits. They have been acting heelish, however the WWE have not been able to convince the fans to boo them. Instead, they now sense opportunity. With Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits getting good reactions and good responses, the WWE have cancelled the heel turn. With this in mind, AOP have been brought in to work with Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross and AOP will be taking the push that was originally planned for Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. This puts AOP in a very strong position. They could potentially be going after the Tag Team Championships, just not anytime soon because there's no plans for AOP versus a Judgment Day. That said, of course, Judgment Day face turn isn't an impossibility. All I'll say on that. News on AOP still to come. Spider-Boss says Bayley winning the Women's Rumble will be interesting because nobody sees Bayley winning after how WWE has booked her. Bayley is currently the most... when you look at the odds, when you look at the gambling, more money has been spent on Bayley winning the Rumble than anyone else. So that simply isn't true. KJ says, Tom, what's the difference between Jade Cargill owning her name and Mercedes Money owning her name? I could have explained it better, but do you get what I'm saying? Why they don't let Mercedes use her name? Yeah, it's really quite simple. Really quite simple on this one. She built a decade-long, roughly, brand as Mercedes Sasha Banks. So they want to take advantage of that. We have someone watching on X. For those that don't know, I did launch this particular show on Twitter as well, just to see if anyone was interested in jumping in and checking it out. Thomas, hello. He's watching via X. Welcome to the show. Oh, I misread that. Fair enough. No, not really. They're currently working to push Santos Escobar, and they will continue to do so. Cody says, could we see Trinity in a one-off Rumble appearance as TNA champion? Once again, if you pop back to about 20 minutes into the show, I talk about all the surprise Rumble entrants that I've heard anything about. Just pop back to about 20 minutes in, and it's all there. Thomas says, hi Tom, hope you and your family are feeling better now. Feeling much better, yes, thank you. Joey says, do you see Cross finally getting a good push with this AOP pairing? No. However, I do see him getting a push, which is new. KJ says, speaking of the Bobby faction not going heel, what's your thoughts on Cross's new faction? Certainly makes him more interesting than it has been for a long time. Alex says, when you did your booking Royal Rumble video, I'm surprised you had Cena in there. Do you think he's actually going to be in there? Yeah. Also, I just really like the idea of it opening with Cena versus Styles. Kevin says, Judgment Day babyface, nobody going to take Dominic Mysterio like a babyface. Okay. Josh says, the Lashley Profit heel run was misguided from the start. Montez Ford is like a lovable cartoon character. No booze ever coming his way. Michael says, even for those who use their real names, doesn't the WWE own everything wrestling related with their names? Some of them, yes. The WWE does try and trademark their names for use as a wrestling character. So you can still use your own name, but you can't use it as a wrestling character if WWE owns that right. Spider-Bot says, Judgment Day turning babyface would be interesting. I honestly see fans caring more about Rhea than the rest of the Judgment Day, and what else is new. Alyssa says, could see Charlotte win Royal Rumble 2025. They have not decided who's going to win the Royal Rumble 2025 yet. We haven't even had Royal Rumble 24. Michael says, Jade can be Jade, but everything wrestling related is owned by WWE. Spot on. Spot on. Also, Jade Cargill had the ability to say no because she came in as a recognisable name. Sasha Banks was not a recognisable name when she came in. Joey says, did Vince's return block the AOP signing months ago? Nope. KJ says, thanks for answering. It makes sense. And H. Carfings says, do you think Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, might return to the WWE? For a Hall of Fame induction? Yes. For anything else? Probably not. Noob says, why can't we all be happy for Asuka? We are. You're in the wrong place if you think people here aren't happy for Asuka, mate. Read the room. Zane says, will WWE and NJPR work together? New Japan promotional material? New Japan public relations. Got it. No. Last piece of news is as regards the AOP, and I just want to give a very clear update as to what actually happened here now that we are past the post. Authors of Pain did not sign with the WWE a year and a half ago. That did not happen. A year and a half ago, as I reported here on this channel, Triple H first reached out to them about the possibility of returning to the WWE, and there was clear interest there. It did not happen at that time due to other commitments that the Authors of Pain had made. But also, in addition, they wanted to get Paul Ellering in, and Paul Ellering proved a little harder to nail down. He wasn't particularly interested in returning to wrestling in general. Now, AOP did run through their previous commitments. After that, it was a case of them saying, we are interested, we are happy to sign with those terms, we just need to know what the story is going to be. And it is only in the last few weeks they determined what the story would be for Paul Ellering and the Authors of Pain. Only in the last few weeks that they convinced Paul Ellering to sign on that dotted line, and thus only in the last few weeks that they decided to bring the Authors of Pain back. They did not sign with the WWE a year and a half ago. They only recently signed with the WWE, and from here on we can expect to see a lot of the Authors of Pain and a lot of Karrion Kross and a lot of Brunette Scarlett, which is a weird phrase to say. AOP, they be back. Spider-Bot says, with Charlotte injured, do you think the SmackDown women's division needs another top babyface? I mean, they've got one, they just haven't turned a face yet. Cody says, went back to watch. Good to hear. Cheers, mate. I guess the other piece of the Naomi Trinity question is, would WWE stick to calling her Naomi or recognise her as Trinity from TNA? That depends entirely on whether or not she's contracted to TNA. If she's contracted to TNA, they will have to call her Trinity. But they can also refer to her as Naomi. H-Car says, what's the best return at Royal Rumble, do you think? My favourite is 2015 Royal Rumble Boogeyman return. The best return, probably a name like a John Cena, to be honest. Thomas says, how do you see the pairing of AOP and Karrion Kross going? Well, they gel together very nicely, and I can see them as a War Games team. I've seen you pushing hard for that one, Brad. We'll see how it goes. Alice says, my favourite part of Kross's new faction is Scarlett. She does seem kind of out of place in it. Not going to lie. KJ says, what do you think is next for Drew, and do you think he's signed a new contract? Drew McIntyre, to my knowledge, has not signed a new contract with the WWE. We are still waiting to determine what the plan is for Drew McIntyre. He is still waiting on a level of push being promised to him that will convince him to sign. At current, he has not been promised a strong enough push to actually want to remain with the company. Thane says, do you call a person a wrestling fan if they only watch TNA, or do they call them a TNA fan? TNA is wrestling, they are both a wrestling and a TNA fan. I'm not that elitist. If you watch wrestling, you're a wrestling fan. Bismo says, Street Profits didn't do enough to get a heel reaction from the crowd. The Profits and Bobby didn't do them any favours, still hand-slapping the crowd coming to the ring. And Spider-Boss says, do you think Pat McAfee will ever return to Smackdown? Yes, absolutely, he will. He is going to be wrestling a few matches this year. I have absolute confidence of that, and we should be seeing him relatively soon to get that party started. Right, it is 4 minutes until 11 p.m. We will be back on Wednesday with my Women's Royal Rumble full walkthrough. Hopefully, because a lot of people were saying they enjoyed the one for the Men's Rumble, hopefully you'll enjoy this one just as much. And then on Thursday, we have a brand new series starting, which is designed to bring in those views. Designed to bring in those views. So it may be a little unconventional or something that you guys haven't seen on the channel before, but I implore you to give it a shot. As I mentioned previously, the target for this year is 1 million views. That's an average of 2,700 per day. The large plan is to gain views from other platforms, to put more effort into the TikTok side and to put more effort into the Twitter side. I've been developing a list of reports that I've made. I've literally called it the channel success tracker on this here YouTube channel, and that list will eventually reach, it's definitely looking like more than 100 items. From there, I will subscribe to Twitter so that the links don't get tanked only for the length of this thread, and I will then be doing everything possible to get that thread onto the For You page. Threads are what works on Twitter right now, but I'm still going to ask all of you for your help with that, and I appreciate all of you continue to help the channel and help its growth, to help it advertise, to put me over, as so many of you have done on Twitter. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for your continued support. I will be doing, Michael. Don't you worry. Not you're nice, you know? Not you're nice. In the meantime, I've been Tom Colohue. You have been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.